Righty Jim, California Voters Guide for Propositions 22 through 25. You can find Propositions 14 through 17 and 18 through 21 in our other videos that are available on our YouTube channel. So let's start off with Proposition 22. Exempts app-based transportation and delivery companies from providing employee benefits to certain drivers. Clarifies the app-based drivers as independent contractors instead of employees, and provides independent contractor drivers and other compensation unless certain criteria are met. This is a reaction to AB 105. This was a bill that was created and passed by Lorena Gonzalez, an assemblywoman out of San Diego. Lorena Gonzalez's main financial backers in her runs for office have been labor unions, especially SEIU, Service Employees International Union, and they wanted to unionize the gig economy workers, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, etc. They got her to put a bill through the California Assembly. It was passed by the Assembly and the State Senate and signed by Gavin Newsom. Now let's remember the Democrats have a supermajority, so just about anything they put up, as long as they make a good case for it, is going to get passed and signed off by Gavin Newsom. So this really wasn't that difficult to get through. So what the Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash have gone out and done is put Proposition 22 on the ballot, and it pretty much gets rid of the provisions of AB 5. Because not only did this affect gig economy workers, it also affected anybody who's a contract worker. So if you're a writer that was submitting articles on a contract basis to, say, a website, you were only allowed to write 35 articles a year before you'd be cut off, or the company would have to make you an employee. So that did not work out. So there were many, many people that were affected. Nail salons, independent contractors, or anyone who's an independent contractor was affected who did piece type work. So because of this, we recommend a yes vote on Proposition 22 to get rid of AB 5 and the limitations on gig economy workers and to restore their freedom to choose when and where they want to work. Proposition 23 establishes state requirements for kidney dialysis clinics, requires on-site medical professionals, requires physicians, nurse practitioners, or physician's assistants on-site during dialysis treatment, prohibits clinics from reducing services without state approval, prohibits clinics from refusing to treat patients based upon payment source. Okay, this is a ballot petition, again, backed by SEIU, Service Employees International Union. This is the same organization that tried to get this on the ballot in 2018 and succeeded with Prop 8. The basic premise behind this is they want more of their workers, their unionized workers, hired as physician's assistants or nurse practitioners. And therefore, they're making it required by law. They've made their case to the state assembly to pass a law doing this, they did not do so because there wasn't a valid reason. So they've taken it to the initiative process and are trying to get the voters to pass it by labeling it as something as more safety for dialysis clinics or more responsible treatment. It's none of the above. It is simply a union ploy. It is an abuse of the initiative system and should not be voted and should not be taken seriously. It is a no vote on Proposition 23 by us. Proposition 24 amends consumer privacy laws, permits consumers to prevent businesses from sharing personal information, contacting inaccurate personnel or correcting inaccurate personnel information, and other privacy changes and use of personal data. Okay, this is a proposition placed on the ballot by Signature Initiative, and it's backed by Andrew Yang. It will modify the implementation of the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018, and it will change existing consumer data privacy laws, provides new consumer privacy rights, changes existing penalty limits on the use of how the revenues are used from these penalties, and it'll create a new state agency. Now, this is something, data privacy and personal use of information while online and your rights or rights to not be tracked are already implemented through the California Consumer Privacy Act, like I said, of 2018. And they're already out there. If you notice, you can go on the website, you'll see these things that say If you're from California, they'll pop up and say, hey, here's your rights. Do you want these cookies to track you? Now, this is backed by Andrew Yang, who the gentleman who was one of the who's behind the UBI, the Universal Basic Income concept, who ran for president. Now, this is a 50-page bill, or 50-page initiative. What is in those 50 pages? Well, there's a lot of stuff in there. Some of it grants new rights. Some of it lessens some of the current protections in the California Privacy Act, which is not necessarily the end all, but it is currently what we have. If you've got 50 pages in an initiative, that means you're trying to hide something in there. Second of all, this also creates a new state agency. And let's face it, we don't need more bureaucracy in California. And that never works out well for anybody. All it does is get bureaucrats jobs, and usually does not work well for consumers or for anybody who is a voter. So we currently recommend a no vote on Proposition 24. There are certainly changes that need to be made to data privacy laws, but this initiative does not take care of it. And finally, Proposition 25, referendum on the law that replaced money bail with a system based on public safety and flight risk. A yes vote approves it, a no vote rejects it, replacing money bail with a computer-based algorithm. All right, this is a ballot proposition to do away with money bail. This was something that was passed in the California legislature as SB 10 back in 2018 and would have been implemented October 1st of last year if this had not showed up on the ballot. What this does, this is something that is by social justice warriors and civil rights organizations that want to get rid of bail because they feel bail is racist, unfair, disadvantaged various groups. What they want to do is implement a computer algorithm system that will basically, if you're arrested for a misdemeanor or non-felony, you will be released within 12 hours. If you're charged with a more serious misdemeanor, like maybe domestic abuse or a serious felony, you will basically be scored by this algorithm within 36 hours to determine if you're a flight risk and if you're a danger to society. Basically, I don't really want computers, even though there's a lot of usage of computers today, to basically determine whether a felon gets out of jail or not. And again, these are people that have just been charged. They have not been convicted of any crime. So someone who's been charged gets let out based upon a computer algorithm that may or may not have a bug in it. So this is not a good idea. We're going to basically say vote no on this at this time. We've already turned 7,000 criminals out onto the streets, letting more violent people, even if they haven't been convicted yet, charge people onto the streets is not a good idea. We're recommending a no vote on Proposition 25. I want to thank you for your time on all the different propositions. Remember, the others are in the other two videos, and their last day to register to vote in the state of California is October 19th. Register to vote and vote, or you don't have the right to complain. This is Righty Jim. Have a good day.